If you don't know a little bit about the game that we'll be playing today, it's League of Legends. But on the blue side, we have Canterbury College, Jungle God in the top lane, Device in the jungle, Marblefade in the mid lane, Pink Coat in bot, and the yellow coat will be the support.
Yeah, I like these synergistic names in the bot lane right there. You have two coats. You know, they're going to help each other out. When one gets wet, the other will be there to dry them. However, what I don't like is Jungle God playing top. You have this great name synergy, and then you throw it all away.
Why is Jungle God on the top?
I don't know.
We don't know these things, but we never know. But their opponents today on the red side.
Yeah, their opponents will be Ormiston College. Up top will be LonelyNumber. Flavorish in the jungle, written out in some leet speak there for you. Lolitron in the mid lane, Applesbrew in the bot lane, and Enough said, aka Nuff on support. And this team, you know, a lot more creative names.
I think Flavorish, definitely not LonelyNumbers there.
Yes.
Yes.
That went right over my head.
Because there's two numbers next to each other.
So there's multiple numbers in that. There's like two numbers.
Exactly.
14,
so
45,
number. The numbers aren't lonely. It was a pun.
So we're going to be seeing a lot more ganks in the mid lane then, I suppose. That's where the synergy must clearly lie for this team. Jokes aside, though, as you were saying, yes, the game we're going to be seeing today is League of Legends.
Yes, and League of Legends is a 5-on-5 team battle where the objective is to destroy the enemy's base through killing them and killing neutral objectives that spawn around the map and how well you play around those. So a very technical game, actually, is as simple as it would look. It's I say when people are picking up the game, it requires about 150 hours to actually learn the game and learn how to play, which seems like a lot, but when you play, it's not really.
That's only like...
Look, if I had to check my league time spent, it would be... it'd be in the months of playtime.
Yeah, definitely. It is one of those games that takes like a minute to learn, a lifetime to master almost. So the skill that you're going to see like from these players today... It's important to keep in mind that they are still learning the game, as is everyone who picks it up. So you might not see that same level of flashy plays that you would if you watch like a top-level competitive game. I know for a fact I'd watched some of that LCS semifinals this morning. Cloud9 looked fantastic. I don't expect to see Cloud9-esque caliber today, but what I am expecting to see are, you know, several high schools with several budding young programs developing these players, learning the game, learning to work together, and really having a truly memorable experience here at the Ekka, getting to play on a stage in front of a live crowd that really, if these past days are anything to go by, it's just going to grow and grow as this day goes on. So we're in for a lot of fun here for this one. Obviously, picks and bans will be starting momentarily as soon as the players are ready. Would you like to explain a bit what picks and bans are?
So picks and bans is a stage at which each team elects to choose certain champions they want to play and champions they don't want to play against. When I say a champion, it's a character. There are 143 different characters, each of them having different abilities, looks, and, of course, ways to play the game, and different styles to play as well. There are 5 roles in the game, as we went over them: top, jungle, mid, AD carry, and support. Each of them obviously have specific champions that fit into those roles and designed to play them. But you will get a chance. You see these teams, once you jump into pick ban, they'll get to ban away 3 champions, pick 3 champions, ban 2 more, and then pick 2 more. So a total of, 30 champions being selected out of that pool of 143. Most teams elect, at this level, to go for comfort picks. So we have this thing in League of Legends called a meta, or a most effective tactic available. Which means it's the strongest champions or the strongest synergies that you can pick as a team, or individual champions that are much stronger than all the other ones, or can be considered stronger, in which case those are the champions that the highest level teams want to play, because they always give you the highest chance of winning no matter what you're playing against. Down in this elo, though, you'll be playing against people who, just play a certain champion they enjoy. And may not be the strongest champion, but as long as they know the champion, that's generally enough to get you across the line in these games where everything's not being played at the highest level.
And I feel in a spectator perspective, that actually makes these games a bit more exciting, a bit more unpredictable, and a bit more fun. I know we see champions that we don't normally see when watching top tier, like Darius being run top. He's been a frequent pick, and really, what I've learned about Darius is he's become something that's a bit more feast or famine. Either does incredibly well or just doesn't do anything at all.
Especially now experience, right? We got 0-10 and then 10-0 game on.
Exactly. Meanwhile, champions like Lux, which typically are played more in the support role, are getting taken mid lane and then just completely taking games over. So definitely we could see anything in this. So for the viewer, it's definitely going to give you a wide variety of what to might expect when experiencing this game. Hopefully we will be getting into experiencing that game very, very shortly. I believe there's just a little bit of problems with the Discord that had to be sorted out, but as soon as the players can hear each other, then we'll be able to get in. Obviously, communication, very important in games like this.
Oh, most definitely. And this is, as I said, primarily a team game. It's all about how well you work with everyone else on your team and how well you guys work together. So being able to learn how to play together and play for each other and tell each other where you are on the map, what you're doing, what you can see, where everyone else is absolutely essential. As we... Still waiting to get into the game.
I know. I'm getting teased right now. I can kind of just see over the top of these monitors and the players, and like the mouse button is hovering over that start. We're just waiting for the finger to come down, and we can get into this one. I just believe, last adjustments to monitors, making sure everyone is ready to go, and we will get on this. I mean, with this first game, Canterbury versus Ormiston, is there any particular champions or strategies that you want to see these teams approach as we are moving into our picks and bans? Here we go.
Besides just like comfort picks and picking exactly what you want to do, no, not really. I think also these guys are going to ban out against, obviously, the champions that each other's just strong at. Urdia, first ban coming out of the board there. That's a champion that you don't really see. Obviously, a target ban toward Flavorish there in the jungle. Not a very strong champion. Jarvan a little bit more meta, but can be played. It's quite easy to play as well at the lowest level. So
I love Jarvan. I love Jarvan. He is fantastic. I mean, it's really a shame to see him banned away because I feel in lower elo competitive play, Jarvan is probably the premier jungler just based on his versatility, flexibility, and ease of use. Smart ban away from Ormiston in that regards. They don't have first pick, and I could easily see Canterbury focusing on that and selecting it to build a team around. Definitely some targeted bans, though, coming out of Canterbury. Like Zed, as well, is typically not a mid laner you would see in high competitive play, but if you do not know how to handle him and your opponent is very strong at them, something you do not want to go up against. So Canterbury has done their research. They are taking out, comfort picks from Ormiston. Lolitron, I imagine, is a competent Zed player. Vladimir will be our last ban, however, coming out of Ormiston. And now comes that all-important first priority pick.
I mean, interesting bans so far. Actually been a little bit more meta than what you'd expect, right? Silas and Zed, two very strong picks. Of course, Kled and Vladimir very strong as well. And Fiora locked in. Interesting to see a Fiora blind pick. Generally, Fiora's counter pick to certain matchups, but it looks like LonelyNumber will just reply with a Cho'Gath.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the Fiora being prioritized by Canterbury. As you mentioned, Fiora can be countered when taken blind, and because our players today are playing on the tournament realm, that means every champion is available for them, so it's very easy to pick for other roles. Typically, the priority pick is usually reserved for something like a jungler or a support, something that really mostly the jungler, because it's something that you build the entire team around. As mentioned before, there are different lanes in this game for different roles, and essentially the jungle is, I will help all the lanes. I will assist every role. So that's why it's usually a very easy pick to base your team composition around. Sejuani, what is being hovered right now by device 1, that you see it there, that is the jungler for Canterbury, and that is someone who you can build around. She is a tank, so she's a frontliner. She provides a lot of crowd control, or CC as we will call, essentially stunning and disrupting their opponents. I would expect that to be locked in. I'm hoping it is jungle and not one of these, surprise supports that we've been seeing Sejuani, and with the Alistar locked in, that is definitely a jungle Sejuani.
No, mid lane Sage. Full AP mid lane Sage. Caps would do it. Let's be real.
I almost did that in our 2v2 earlier today.
Oh, God. Ooh, Yasuo locked in. Interesting to see Yasuo locked away. On the other side of Sejuani and Alistar, two of the champions that synergize extremely well with that champion. But unfortunately, will not get paired up with them today. Lolitron obviously playing those mid lane assassins, Zed, Yasuo, and the like. I mean, it is an interesting draft from Canterbury, especially going to Fiora first, but obviously Cho'Gath has been another champion that I haven't actually seen in like a very long time besides in TFT.
Yeah, Cho'Gath is a bit of a surprise, but I definitely do like this champion. They provide a lot of sustain in lane, obviously some crowd control as well with that knockup, and considering we have a Cho'Gath who has a critical knockup, a Kayn if they go Rast, which has a knockup, and then a Yasuo, Ormiston definitely looks to be playing around that third champion they locked in.
Yeah, most definitely, and we'll have to see exactly what they pick up in the bot lane to synergize with the Yasuo, because at the moment, they've only got the Cho'Gath knockup, which isn't the biggest AoE, it's not the hardest to land. Kayn can go either way, or I can go Shadow Assassin as well. Wouldn't want to go Rast, but again, it's still not like a reliable knockup. It's not the same as like a Malphite or an Alistar, but could definitely wait to see exactly what happens. Of course, you can play Yasuo without any knockups, but very rare. Hopefully we get a Gragas support or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Gragas could be a good one to follow up with as well, but I don't know. I feel as if the Rupture really should be enough, because a good Rupture coming out of LonelyNumber, that would be the Cho'Gath, that could lead to an entire team Last Breath from the Yasuo, Last Breath being Yasuo's ultimate, and following that, I could see a complete team wipe. Observe the record, yes, we are speaking some of these ability names as they're coming through. Each champion does have an ultimate. Yasuo's ultimate, Last Breath, can only be activated if their opponents have been knocked airborne. And it does an incredible amount of damage when it does go through, and it can hit multiple targets at once, should multiple of them be airborne. This is why, you know, abilities like Cho'Gath's Rupture or Kayn's, I forget the name of it, it's the W when he goes Ross Kayn, so that's going way technical. The point is, you need those knockups to help enable your champion, and this is exactly what we mean at the start, how League of Legends is a team game. It's work based on synergies and communications, because you need to work with your team to sort of catch out your opponents in these situations where you can land these knockups, execute the damage, and then take advantage of the ensuing team fight. Meanwhile, back to these picks and bans, Ashe, Orianna, and Tristana locked in. 3 very surprising picks.
I mean, kind of surprising. I think the Orianna and Tristana are a little bit more normal. Ashe is a little bit out of there, but I saw Applesbrew playing with some Ashe in the practice tool, so obviously a favorite pick of his. Interesting to see Nami as well locked in with the Ashe. I guess that's a little bit of synergy for the Yasuo, right, getting the ultimate on him. Hopefully the Ormiston jungler does take the Smite rune, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like they're doing a roll swap. Lolitron will be playing jungle, and Flavorish is going to be playing that Yasuo in the mid lane.
Ooh, a little bit of spice here in our opening game. So a bit of a position swap, it appears, coming out of Ormiston. This is typically, you know, if someone is more comfortable on a specific champion and that's the champion the team wants to run, they will sometimes pull that off. You know, it kind of catches your opponents off guard. So I'm excited to see how Canterbury will react in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Canterbury very much, you know, I think they should be fine regardless, right? They've actually got a really strong team comp in there. You know, we talk about synergy, stuff like that. They've got a lot of synergies that work really well together. Orianna is one of the best kind of supportive mid laners that also is kind of like a carry, right? Her command shockwave does so much damage, especially paired with an Alistar, who's, you know, one of those heavy engage types and can really follow up on a Sejuani. Ultimate is going to be very strong. If you just put that ball on the Alistar, combo with the headbutt pulverize into an ultimate, into the dissonance, it's going to be doing a ton of damage overall, and that could be winning a team fight there if he gets multiple knockups with that headbutt pulverize combo.
Yeah, the ball delivery system, as I like to call it. In fact, there are multiples, because not only would it work well with Alistar, it could work well with the Sejuani as well. So Device 1 as well as Yellow Coat are going to be 2 players to watch when chaos starts to go like everywhere. They're going to be the ones initiating these team fights. They're going to be the ones that the teams are playing around. So very excited as we load ourselves onto the Rift momentarily. We will see that on the big screen. This is it, everybody. Our final day of the Ekka. It is game number 1. Canterbury College taking on Ormiston College. These kids can hear you, so give them a big cheer. We are on the Rift.
Yeah, and as these teams slowly move out as a whole, I mean, I'm definitely liking the comp from Canterbury. I think Canterbury are, you know, clear favorites in this game. I think they've got a much better composition, and all the champions work much better together. They've got a really nice 4-1 split, so they've got obviously Tristana that can siege up in the mid lane with the explosive charge, and they also have Fiora that can sit up in the top side and split away from the rest of the team and force the Cho'Gath out to those side lanes, because I don't think anyone can really match her if she gets ahead and if she gets fed. However, if she does fall behind in this early game, it could be very problematic, as Fiora is one of those champions who is very feast or famine as well. If you can survive the early game, get through halfway, you can start getting bigger and bigger, but if you don't get that, then unfortunately you are kind of useless until you get 2 or 3 items.
Yeah, but I think Canterbury has built a team that actually could survive that type of situation. Yes, ideally they would be wanting to run that sort of split push, but should they fall back to that late game scaling team fight, they have the team for it. Tristana starts very powerful early and then is very powerful late. Similarly, Device on the Sejuani becomes more and more unkillable as the game progresses, and Orianna is just strong all throughout and super strong in team fights. So Canterbury, they have that failsafe there, and that's something I really appreciate. Where I look at Ormiston, however, it's kind of spiky all over the place. Like, there's no real... I want to say mid-game is probably where they're going to be strongest once Yasuo has 2 items completed, once Kayn, you know, has gotten into most likely Rost and has that 2nd item completed as well. Then maybe we'll start to see some roaming gangs and maybe trying to be a bit more of a skirmishy team. But Canterbury's team composition, a lot more straightforward, a lot more easy to pull off, and a lot of times in these lower elo games, that's what I look for in them. Like, play something that's simple, easy to execute, and do it well, and you will win more games than not.
Yeah, and you know, as you did say, yeah, Canterbury definitely has that much easy execute comp. Ormiston have a little bit of like a dis-synergy, right? They got like a tank top laner. They've also got, you know, all AD damage. Yasuo hasn't really got any knock-up synergy. He's got a couple, but again, coming in the mid lane here for this Yasuo, who into the Orianna is definitely in a tough matchup. Orianna is one of the strongest counters to Yasuo since the wind wall doesn't actually block anything. the ball. I mean, it does block the ball, but the cooldown on the ball is so short that it doesn't really matter.
Ooh, good parry. The rupture right there. The other thing about that gank that I really do enjoy coming out of Device 1 is just that Kayn is not really going to be in position to counter a level 2 gank just because his clear is done solo. Usually junglers will have a leash. Kayn is one of the few that would not be leashed in that type of situation, which means Sejuani, a jungler normally known for waiting until level 6 before really making themselves known on the map, is able to actually kind of step forward and actually go for one of those aggressive plays. Unfortunately for Canterbury, Ormiston did a great job reacting. Flavorish was able to sort of run out of lane, and a headbutt pulverized combo onto Applesbrew actually gets this Ashe quite low. The explosive charge will go off and nearly bringing down Applesbrew right there. Heal was still available, so this Ashe would probably have stayed alive. Here's something interesting. Double heal being run for Ormiston in that bot lane.
Yeah, double heal in that bot lane is definitely an interesting strategy. Definitely not normal, but I mean, it can still work. Right, gives you a lot of extra healing, but it's kind of you need one of those combat summoners is more useful when it comes into the game.
Yeah, definitely. Perhaps later in the game, it will be a bit more fun. Unfortunately, it does come at the expense of kill pressure. And for a lane like this, level 6 kill pressure is super important. Device, meanwhile, has once again returned mid, but this time Lolitron is here to help out. The stun will come down, and Flavorish is actually quite low, but they don't want to follow up on that one. The threat of Lolitron was a bit too much to really encourage Canterbury to back away. A tough situation right there.
Yeah, I mean, a good little good little trade from both sides. Could go either way, but fortunately getting away from it then. But look at Lolitron sticking around this mid lane trying to help his Yasuo out, but the junglers will collide.
Yeah, junglers looking to collide around the river at the moment. I doubt we're going to be seeing much of an invade there. However, Flavor is getting a good chunk of damage right down onto Marblefade. Has to be careful. Lolitron is around as well, so Orianna needs to play safe, needs to play back. Should be fine. Still has Flash and Barrier available. And this is something actually I'm noticing in this game that we haven't really seen much of in our past games so far. A lot of these players are being very cautious and safe with their summoner abilities.
Yeah.
In the past, we've been seeing, flashes burn left, right, and center, but smart play, understanding, champion roles, when to use what, and holding on to these summoner abilities, the flashes, the heals, the barriers, does ensure that they're actually going to stay alive a fair bit longer, and we might be seeing a much more controlled game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking that way. It's definitely one of those games where both teams want to get to that mid game, want to get to 1 or 2 items, get to, level 10, 11 before they actually start making these fights, because the rank 2 ultimates for these champions are very, very beneficial. So it's definitely one of those games where there's not a lot of action happening early on. Obviously Sejuani and Canterbury, there's farming junglers that work towards later in the game. But now there's definitely going to see exactly what they do is see Yellow Coat.
Another headbutt pulverize comes through. The Aqua Prism does land, but that's not who you want. Pink Coat doing a lot of damage, forcing out the first flash, and the Ignite falling. Applesbrew has to burn heal. Both heals actually used on that bot lane. A cheeky escape, though, so Ormiston stays alive. Good play from Canterbury, as once again, they are trying to chase down Flavorish. Okay, here's something I'm actually going to be a little bit critical about in regards to Ormiston, all right? You have a Yasuo comp, yet every time we look at mid, it's actually Device harassing the Yasuo as opposed to Lolitron really trying to assist him.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a Yasuo comp. I think they need to focus around this bot lane and Ashe in particular, right? I feel like that's, their biggest strength. I think the Yasuo isn't the strongest synergistically wise with everybody else. I think the Ashe, if she goes to the 20% CDR, the sneaky build with the Triforce plus, what's the other one? You go Essence River, don't you? The Triforce Essence River, or is it Triforce Black Cleave or something?
Yeah.
Weird like that. Right. That gives you the 40% city on your arrow, and you start looking for picks that way. I think that's the best way to go, with maybe a Shadow Assassin Kayn rather than the Ross. Even though Ross is generally better, I think in this game you have enough tankiness and enough frontline, given the fact that Yasuo is going to... Yasuo usually goes into Bruiser, right? He goes Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, and then he should be just building like Steric's Gauge. I think even like Dead Man's Play, like those kind of items, but up in the top side again, nothing going to happen. Kayn's gank gets spotted out very quickly there by the Fiora, and Jungle God in the top lane stays alive.
Yeah, Jungle God, if he's a god of the jungle, he should be aware of when the enemy jungler is looking at his lane. So, unfortunately for Lolitron, can't find an opening in this instance. What has been going well, though, for this Kayn has been the farming. He has considerably ahead at this stage. Again, that's largely due to the lane pressure that Device has been putting, primarily in mid, and that has resorted in a small CS lead for Marblefade thus far, but really, I'm not sure it's enough as stepping forward is Jungle God. He could be in a bit of trouble, but Lolitron, again, backs away, not wanting to commit for this game.
Yeah, Jungle God 7, by the way. So not the Jungle God. It's the 7th one, right?
Yes.
Not the best, but he's Jungle God number 7.
Dude, if you were 7th, oh, the pulverize hits, but the headbutt not really following up because it's saved for Applesbrew. Great play from Yellowcoat, and there is your first blood going to Canterbury.
Yeah, it looked like he made a bit of a mistake there, not hitting the headbutt pulverize, but obviously was getting the Nami out of the way so they could single out the Ashe with no flash. Knocks him up, holds the pulverize perfectly there, and gets first blood. Well played by Canterbury.
Oh, last breath used on Marblefade. The ignite dropped as well, except this is Orianna is way too healthy. Barrier still available. A teleport coming out as well, so that will dissuade Flavorish this time around.
A bit of a cooldown. I mean, good force by Flavorish, sorry, to get the teleport out of Jungle, but I think it was a little bit preemptively used as we see Pinkcoat smashing that bowling tower.
Yeah, actually takes a fair bit of abuse from the tower, though, so needs to be careful in this situation. It's a good place for the bot lane to be, but because they've already gotten that first dragon, there's really no obtainable objectives on the bot side of the map right now. So they're doing the smart thing and trying to roam towards the mid lane. However, I believe they got spotted a bit by Lolitron hitting a one of those vision cones, but it doesn't matter. Glacial Prism did hit on the Flavorish. The Shockwave actually kind of helped this Yasuo, but the jumping forward of Pinkcoat will help secure that kill, the second of the game for the blue side.
Yeah, flash burnt from the 80 carry as well, so a little bit of a aggressive cooldown burnt there for the, Tristana. I think if you talk to many 80 carry mains in the pro, they'll say it's always worth holding your flash, right? It's not worth the 300 gold for a kill because you're so important to your team to stay alive. But early on in the game, I think it's actually fine. So a nice little pick up from him and gain a good stun.
No, Device stepping forward. A big flash from LonelyNumber will not be enough as the grand challenge helps secure the kill.
Yeah, Fiora now 1-0. T-Mac completed as well, so has got that extra bit of wave clear that he seems to kind of lack, but this is looking very good for Canterbury. 3-0. Lane leads across the board, and I think Ormiston are going to be in a lot of trouble unless this Yasuo can really start getting online. Yeah,
that exactly. As you can see down on bot, Nuff was in a bit of a tricky situation, and as a result, Ormiston really cannot contest this bot lane despite, being a level up over Yellowcoat, although did just hit 6 now, so this Alistar with that ultimate available actually is very dangerous for both Nuff and Applesbrew. He becomes pretty unkillable. Lolitron actually stepping forward, trying to harass Jungle God.
I love this back animation, by the way.
Yeah, the Shy, one of the best players. A good little tribute to him. World champion last year.
Yeah, and this year.
No, IG's not even making it to Worlds this year the way
surely
things are.
They have to make it to Worlds.
They only just squeaked into playoffs. Fun fact.
Really?
Yes.
Surely they'll still make it though off points if they come like round of 8 though.
I don't know.
But what do top esports come in spring?
Not very well, but top esports is going to be a contender to win the LPL.
Yeah, I guess they win it. So yeah. I guess.
Yeah, like I think RNG is probably just going to get it through on points.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, because RNG was fun. No, it was IG versus.
Was it FunPlus? Well, I think FunPlus is going to win.
Well, FunPlus, yeah.
FunPlus looks ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
There are so many good players in China right now. That said, though, we are not in China. We are here at the Ekka, and with the game afoot at the moment, both junglers walking into each other, Device and Lolitron. The stun is available, and help is coming. A huge shockwave pulls Lolitron back in, and another kill will be secured by Canterbury.
Yeah, that's the power of that Orianna. Just so supportive. You don't expect that damage to come out of a champion playing so slowly, but again, Yellowcoat.
Pinkcoat rocket jumping in. The tidal wave is going to slow them down, but it doesn't matter. That much damage from this Tristana brings down Applesbrew.
Yeah, Tristana almost completing the edge. Both of the attack damage parts of that item now completed 95 CS to 75. So a big CS lead on the side of Pinkcoat, and Applesbrew burning that flash once again will not have it the next time that Yellowcoat decides to engage.
Which surprises me is the flash was burned and not the heal. Typically you want to use the heal first because it's a lower cooldown and less important, but can still have that same impact to turn a fight around.
Yeah.
Instead they went for the flash, unfortunately did not pay off, and right now Flavorish can't do too much to defend this mid tower. There are 4 members strong of Canterbury in the area, kind of daring Flavorish to step forward. He's smart. He's going to back away, and that'll be a lot of platings going down in that mid lane. Up top, however, Jungle God might be pushed too far forward. Yes, he has flash, but here comes the ultimate out of Lolitron. The Chilling Smite still available. Grand Challenge will come down, and it looks as if Jungle God's going to try and turn this around. No, he is unable to. The riposte was not quite there. A wind wall stops some of the damage from Pinkcoat and does allow Marblefade to escape. Rocket jumping in is Pinkcoat, but he jumps right into that Aqua Prism, and Flavorish will turn it around, getting that kill. Back up top as well, LonelyNumber in a 2v1 situation, trying to escape down low. There is that stun there. Device taking its time, finally connects with it, but these are 2 tanks. the damage is not there, and Ormiston is racing to try and save their top laner. Unable to get there in time, however, as Yellowcoat knocks Flavors away. Now it's time for Canterbury to try and escape, but that damage from the Ashe and those slows doing a considerable bit of work. They can't run him down.
When the game just exploded there, it was just nice and controlled from Canterbury. They were kind of controlling the pace of the game, making the plays they want to play. I was going to comment how nice it is seeing their bot lane roam to this mid lane multiple times, spread their pressure from the bot lane to the mid lane, but Ormiston doing exactly the same thing and picking up a couple kills, staying around a little bit too long. Of course, Orianna getting caught by the Yasuo knock-up and Last Breath coming through to do a lot of damage there from Flavorish. So evened up just a little bit here from Ormiston College, and I mean, still 2k gold down, still in Mountain Dragon, behind. So a little bit of a worry still for Ormiston, but then that action across the map, that chaos, if that happens again, it can go either way. Yeah,
that was, kind of what Ormiston needed, I feel, to get back into this game. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but it definitely helps them out. Ocean Drake has been started, but Yellowcoat trying to disrupt it. The Aqua Prism does not actually connect, and the Shockwave throwing Flavors back. Another kill secured by Marblefade. Meanwhile, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow does buy some time for Lolitron to try and escape. He drops the heal, he drops the flash, and gets out alive. A huge escape right there from the jungler from Ormiston.
Yeah, he just barely gets away there, but unfortunately Yasuo goes down as well. Now with his 2 items completed, this means his Ocean Dragon will go straight over to Canterbury. Not the biggest prize, not the biggest loss either, but at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it's still something. Along with the kill, it's a fair bit to give up just over a Dragon.
Yeah, definitely, not what Ormiston wanted. I really feel as if that entire play, because it was Ormiston who initiated the Ocean Drake in that instance, was very greedy and almost like scream desperation, but it's way too early to make those desperate plays at the moment. I mean, you're only 3k down, and it's Jungle God actually stepping forward onto Lolitron. Needs to be careful because LonelyNumber is around. Silence comes through, but Lolitron cannot step forward, is able to dodge the riposte, and now Jungle God is on the retreat. You have Applesbrew making his way up there as well, so Jungle God will have to escape. The Rupture does not quite connect, and with no Enchanted Crystal Arrow, no snipe available.
Yeah, good work there from Jungle God, just dancing around, keeping him engaged. Did unfortunately drop the Grand Challenge to try and kill the Kayn, but could not get it in time. But in this mid lane, the bot lane now just roaming around, giving up on this bot lane tower, and I think it could be a mistake.
Volley hits, and the Aqua Prison lands as well. There is that last breath, and the kill will be secured by Applesbrew. Fantastic, but a flash is used in the recall, so almost clean, almost picture perfect.
But with that rotation, it means that the bot lane tower should go over here to Canterbury College. Tristana, so lethal on those towers with that explosive charge, able to just take him down in a matter of orders. So big damage coming out of the Canterbury bot lane. 8 and 4 overall to kill, so catching up a little bit with Ormiston, but I think Canterbury is a little bit far ahead.
I mean, this is interesting. Device has help coming, and this will be a kill secured with that Glacial Prison to hold him in place. Yellowcoat getting one for himself, actually his second of the game.
Yeah, his second kill of the game here on this Alistar. And this is what he's going to build second here. He's got like the shield, so it's probably either going to be a Locket or a Zeke's Herald, right? Those are the 2 items it builds into, but it looks like the Canterbury bot lane will rotate up into this mid lane. Or maybe not, they're going to just roam around the map. The bot lanes have been moving around so much this game. They've been, not just in the bot lane, they've been all over the map.
I mean, for Canterbury, that makes sense, though. The bot lane tower has gone down, and as well as like this massive lead, why not try and push it and help out your other lanes? Yeah. Why not take this Rift Herald? But if you're on Ormiston, yeah, it was a bit too early, I feel, to give up on that bot lane, as we see a bit of a lane swap, actually. Marblefade has gone to the bot, so I actually imagine we will be seeing Pinkcoat and Yellowcoat sitting more in mid lane or even roaming top at this stage. Already the Alistar is there as they're looking to pressure this tower down for LonelyNumber in a 2v1 situation with no tower. Has to burn Flash in order to escape, but Jungle God still looking to possibly chase him down. I doubt he will go super deep for it.
No, I don't think they will. Won't be able to take down the tanky Cho'Gath, who's only going to get, I mean, he's got for AP Cho'Gath, actually. I've just noticed with his build, so he's actually going to be very, very weak when it comes to this game. Obviously, trying to offer that AP damage, but AP Cho is just not strong enough. Rift Herald down here as well.
Rift Herald down here as LonelyNumber is in trouble as well, but the Pulverize actually makes the save. It doesn't matter. Jungle God wants it. The Grand Challenge comes down, and with the riposte, will secure the kill. The heal from the Grand Challenge will keep him alive. Meanwhile, up above, Yellowcoat walked right into Flavorish right there. Wants no part of it. Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects onto Jungle God. But what a save from Yellowcoat. Only does so much as Nub to get the kill on the backside. Aqua Prison landing on this Alistar should help bring him down as well. A shutdown going over to Lolitron.
And Lolitron has now got his Evolve on his Kayn, so he'll be much stronger in this game, thinking about taking down everybody with him and having so much healing with that Evolved Kayn. The Roast, the Darken Magic, or Blood Magic, sorry, just being so strong, getting him that healing back, and he'll be doing a lot more damage now.
Yeah, definitely something that this team needed. Again, it's still relatively close, a 5k gold differential. It's not great if you're a fan of Ormiston, but it's not GG game over just yet. And as soon as we start to see these second items get completed for the red side, then they'll have a chance to fight back in this one. I'm waiting to see where Flavorish will go. I want to see Kayn finish that. I believe it's going to be a black cleaver by the looks of things. A second item on Applesbrew as well would be fantastic. This is what Ormiston needs.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. Ormiston here.
Oh, here we go. Last breath and Ignite dropped onto Marblefade. Still quite healthy. The Tidal Wave forces the flash over the wall. A cheeky escape from Marblefade keeps him alive. And here comes help from Jungle God from above, drawing the attention of both Flavorish and LonelyNumber. Now has to get out back under the tower. Some timely shield and a huge Glacial Prism actually landing onto Lolitron. But the Aqua Prism right back. Shockwave makes the save. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will get body blocked by Device. And here comes the damage, but Sejuani is too beefy. Yellowcoat from above gets blocked, but still looking for that headbutt pulverize. He'll flash for it and get two. The damage is coming through, but still, it's quite healthy as Ormiston. They might turn around. Aqua Prism onto Device means Sejuani has to back away for now. These front lines standing strong. No one dies.
Yeah, I don't know how no one died in that big engage. Both teams very low. Both the carries on both these sides quite healthy as well. Marblefade and Pinkcoat able to go in and do a lot of damage, and I think, honestly, Ormiston's a little bit behind here, but the Yasuo ultimate is now back up again, so they could look for another engage.
Yeah, definitely, with both teams all putting all of their pressure in that mid lane. Everyone too scared to recall because it could mean losing that tower, despite health bars actually being quite low on both sides. Pinkcoat on this Tristana, though, has very strong wave clear, so might get things pushing in favor of Canterbury, but the volley from Applesbrew as well could return the waves right back. So very much a stalemate type situation, neither team wanting to give up priority, but it's Ormiston who actually looks to be roaming down, having their eyes set on that next Mountain Drake.
I mean, it's very interesting to see both these teams just 5-manning in the mid lane. They're losing a lot of golden experience in these side waves, and I think they're just overestimating the value of that mid lane tower. Right? Canterbury already have 3 towers. They already have 2 in the top lane, 1 in the bot lane. If they give up their mid tower, it's not the end of the world, right? It's not that bad. For Ormiston, it's a little bit worse, right? It allows them access into that jungle. But, you know, having 5 members there and losing all the golden experience you could be getting in the side lane just means that, you know, you're just losing so much, and it looks like Ormiston actually end up losing the mid tower as well. But, you know, like if Jungle God's in this side lane picking up that wave, it means Ormiston aren't picking up. It means every wave he gets is one they lose.
Hold on. There's vision on this dragon. The steal attempt's going to come through. The headbutt pulverize is not in time, but a huge shockwave follow-up does bring down 2 members on the Ormiston side. Flavorish is on the backside, but he's on his own. Lolitron with no health cannot do too much to help this Yasuo. The wind wall does buy some time, but can Flavorish escape Yellowcoat? Yes, he has the knockup, but with Pinkcoat and that rocket jump available, this is a dicey situation for the Yasuo. The hunt is on. Up the river we go, and in the end, Canterbury decide that they don't want it, so Dragon secured for Ormiston, but they lose the ensuing team fight.
Yeah, Ormiston get that Mountain Dragon, but I think at what cost will they give it up for? I think they're going to lose this mid lane tower here. I think it's going to be very dire for them, and I think Canterbury can definitely move up into that jungle and start taking over the Baron.
Yeah, definitely Baron should be the next big objective. A good knockup does proc Flavorish to jump in. However, the damage still not quite there yet for this Yasuo. Doesn't have that second item completed just yet. So if you're Ormiston, you still need to wait another like 5-10 minutes maybe before looking for these fights where you can really get that complete wombo and turn things around.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to point out actually at the moment too, for like something Ormiston needs to start turning this game around. Cho'Gath, LonelyNumber, has opted for an AP-heavy build, despite being quite heavily behind.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice from LonelyNumber. Obviously, Glacial Augment going for obviously the Glacial build, right? I think Cho'Gath, a little bit off meta, I think, and Cho'Gath in general is kind of a little bit off meta. So, a bit of a change of pace here, a little bit of something new, something different, which is, you know, good to see in this spot.
Glacial Prison leads to an easy pickup. Applesbrew going down, and that is the main damage dealer for Ormiston. This means for the next 30 seconds, they really cannot afford a team fight. And with Baron on the map, Canterbury already pinging and rotating that way, Ormiston's in a bad situation.
Yeah, Ormiston already behind, and there's just so much damage coming through. A fantastic pick onto their AD carry, which means they'll be a lot further behind than what they wanted to be. But now, Canterbury moving in on this squad of Ormiston, forcing it back into the base.
Yeah, they're looking to get in. A good rupture, though, does force Canterbury back. That Baron is still being pinged. You can see those assist me pings coming down, so it's definitely the objective Canterbury wants, but enough time has passed, so Applesbrew is back in this game. Lolitron trying to find that flank, gets an eye full of 4 members and says, no thank you. Backs right on out of that.
They're all 5 members just waiting there. Obviously, Jungle in the bush as well, so all 5 members looking to set up a trap, which is really nice out of them. What they should do is look to shove this mid wave out and then look for them.
Oh, that's a flash coming out, and they might have got that pick with the tidal wave turning everything better around. A huge last breath, and this fight is going in Ormiston's favor. Yes, Yellowcoat is on that front line, but the back line has already kind of been decimated. Applesbrew just getting auto out of her auto off. Lolitron trying to get to Marblefade. This Kayn doing so much work. Where is the rest of the team? They're distracted by Yellowcoat, but they're just going to punch right through it and get themselves an ace. Ormiston back in this game.
And there it is, the Yasuo comp there, the turnaround from him, but
Applesbrew
just
what?
creeped.
Oh no, Applesbrew taking too many hits from the tower. It doesn't matter, Baron will still be secured, except it will only be on 4 members of the red side.
Yeah, I mean, getting that Baron over to Ormiston, you can see that's the power of the Yasuo, right? Getting that 3-man last breath in that last teamfight, just turning it around completely, just adding so much CC and adding so much damage in, as well as the armor shred as well it gives you. That lets the rest of the team run through, and that's the strength of having this champion and why they're just so strong.
Yeah, and it happens, you know, just before really their power spike. So the next team fight as well, I feel like with the Infinity Edge completed for Flavorish on this Yasuo, it could get even worse for Canterbury. If you are on the blue side, it's time to be careful. Recognize how come they got cut out, what led to that fight, and really not allow that to happen again. But for the next 3 or 4 minutes, it is Baron buff time, so priority and tempo definitely in Ormiston's favor.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely here. Ormiston looking very strong overall. I mean, I would still say Canterbury are definitely stronger if they can get these good fights, but Tristana now only 2 items on this late game 80 carry, so I think they have to wait for Pinkcoat to get a little bit stronger before they start enabling these fights.
Glacial Prism connects right there onto, I believe that was Flavors, but no follow-ups really, and that's a critical ultimate gone for the side of Canterbury. As you're saying, though, yes, Tristana, she's strong early, she's strong late. This mid-game is where she is at her weakest, so Canterbury, you know, they don't have that Baron buff. They're kind of at a low point in their team composition. They just need to hold tight for the next 5-10 minutes and then possibly look for that game-ending fight. But if you're Ormiston, window is open now. It is time to strike. What can you do with this Baron? Can you crack that base? Can you force that fight? Can you win this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely about Ormiston using this Baron to the boasted benefit. They're still down 2k gold, right? They're still down a couple kills. You know, Canterbury are definitely still the stronger side here overall, but this Yasuo is kind of back in the, giving Ormiston a leash back into this game. You know, I thought it was kind of very dire when Ormiston were losing the mid lane with Flavorish, and also Applesbrew was behind in the bot lane. I thought, oh, you know, Canterbury's rotating around too quickly, and they look like they just want to end this game, and they know what to do, but now they're starting to fall a little bit behind. They're looking a little bit shakier, a little bit less confident of exactly what they want to do, and they're falling further and further behind, or not behind, but letting Ormiston catch up, which is definitely not what you want to see. This Baron buff so strong on these members.
Yeah, I mean, a Baron empowered push at the moment definitely means advantage, at least for the next couple minutes, is going to be an Ormiston side. As you can see already, they are taking some towers down. They took the mid tower, they've taken the top one, and really there isn't too much Canterbury can do unless they want to walk into a Yasuo comp, which is always a bad idea. If you go in blind, you are going to get chain crowd controlled and you will fall. So Canterbury just have to be patient, wait this one out, give up as little as possible before really starting to play the game again.
Yeah, they just got to really just wait, yeah, as you said, wait out this Baron. I think what they need to do is start looking towards getting more wards down. You can see the vision on the red side. There's so many red wards down all around where that Baron pit was, and I think Canterbury, sorry, just not getting the wards down. You see no control wards in any of the members. I mean, in either side, right, is a bit of a disadvantage. But Nami as well, picking up a pot over a control ward. It's an interesting decision you guys have to make as you get later and later into the game.
Yeah, definitely. I feel some control wards would be very beneficial for both sides. Ocean Drake, though, has been started up at the moment for Ormiston. This would make things 2 dragons at least, and the same dragons as well. So kind of evening out those buffs that dragons provide.
Yeah.
Will be one more dragon before that big Elder Drake, and it will be an Infernal Dragon. So that is going to be a critical prize to fight for.
Yeah, and that should be, I mean, honestly, I think the game-ending fight could be over this Infernal Dragon, right? It's in 5 minutes time. It's enough time where the death timers matter, and I think both teams are going to want that Infernal Dragon bad enough they're going to fight to the death over.
The Infernal Drake or possibly even the Baron, which is going to come up in 2.5 minutes. That's the other critical one. So Baron buff at the moment is still going quite strong, actually, for Ormiston's side. A flash engage from Yellowcoat, but all he does is headbutt Flavorish away. The Glacial Prison also came down, not able to connect, so those are several critical abilities actually used on the side of Canterbury. Granted, that was the Hex Flash. It wasn't the actual Flash, so...
No, it was the actual Flash. Now he's Hex Flash.
Okay, that's right. So it was the actual Flash. Hex Flash still is available. So Yellowcoat still has some flashing abilities, but yeah, definitely a lot expelled for Canterbury, and they didn't get much for it. That almost seemed desperate to me.
Yeah, a little bit desperate there out of the Canterbury side. The support there just trying to get in and make something happen for his team, but unfortunately could not get him to do it. And Device as well, burning that Glacial Prison is a lot down for Canterbury. And unfortunately, there's nothing to fight around, so it doesn't actually matter those cooldowns are down. They'll be back up before they really need to fight. But, you know, Sejuani here is going to be looking very strong as she's completed her Warmog's armor, plus No, she hasn't completed the Warmog's armor. I lied. Yeah. Well, she does, but unfortunately the passive is inactive because she doesn't have enough health. That's an issue we've come across quite a bit recently.
Are you sure there's enough health? I kind of want to see the Sejuani again just to double check and make sure.
I think when she levels up, she'll be fine. Well, she could be like at 3k, right?
Yeah, I think she might just be there. But yeah, we've seen that before, you know, when you're going too far ahead and so say Warmog's naturally the second item, right? Oh, wait, I don't have enough health. Yeah, it is just there. So it is just there. The Warmog's passive is available, so she does have that increased health regen. And what that means is that, you know, Sejuani can frontline, get a beating, retreat for a bit, farm a couple jungle camps, and then come right back in and completely healthy once again without having to recall all the way back to the base. Very beneficial item for, you know, these frontline tanks.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those abilities that helps you siege up more and helps you play around these barons. It means no matter what happens, even if Ormiston win a team fight, Device will always still, if he doesn't die in that fight, will always still be around, will always be able to be alive and prevalent and looking for that steal over the wall, which means the Baron is never truly safe unless Device is dead.
Yes, that is true, as we are still, you know, a bit of fronting right now in that mid lane. Each side, you know, not willing to give out much. However, Ormiston doing the smart thing. They have Applesbrew on that side lane at the moment, but here comes the flash engage out of Device. The Glacial Prison is there, and they know it's a 4v5. The Shockwave only connects with one, and the Tidal Wave pushing everyone back. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does connect onto the Sejuani, but down below, I believe that is Flavors just running rampant, along with help from Lolitron, destroying the backline of Canterbury. Yes, Yellowcoat is alive, but he will eventually be cut down as well. Another huge fight for Ormiston. They take it 4-1.
Yeah, a very, you know, poor fight there from Canterbury. Just no communication at all. The front line just kind of dived the back line and just allowed Yasuo and Kayn to just walk on through and just take out their back line for nothing, right? That means the Baron will go over to second Baron for Ormiston, and Canterbury are looking very bad in this later stage of the game.
Yeah, it's not been a good situation for Canterbury, and I wouldn't want to say it's been bad. I just feel as if they've been a bit, you know, almost over-eager. They're seeing, all right, it's a 5v4, we have this crowd control, we have this engage, but the team isn't actually in the position to follow it up.
Yeah.
It's just a bit jumping the gun almost, and they're paying for it with yet another Baron. A second Baron for Ormiston, and this is huge. This is what might be able to get towers. Beautiful parry does block that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which means Jungle God should be able actually to defend for quite a while, and with help from the team, Ormiston will back away for now. It's that top lane, really, where Canterbury is going to feel that pressure because I don't know what Marblefade can do up against Lolitron right now.
I think it's more just like Canterbury just aren't communicating. They're not team fighting well enough. And that's their biggest downfall. I think, you know, they had a really strong laning phase, really strong rotations, and not bad macro, but I feel like they're just team fights are just not synergizing enough. They're not actually, you know, communicating, saying, hey, I'm going to go for this, I'm going to go for that. Watch the Yasuo, peel me, keep me alive. Like, I think they understand how they win team fights, which is obviously keeping this Tristana alive. And landing a multi-man shockwave. That's how they win these fights, and they're not playing around it fast enough. They need to go, okay, I'm going to ball you now, Ali, go in, go in, go in. Alistar land goes in, lands a knock up, you follow it up with the other one, and that's their one-ball combo. And they're just either not identifying it or not being positioned. Maybe the Fiora and the Device are just too trigger-happy, too eager to go in and not setting up. And this is why they're getting wiped in these fights.
Yes, but you also have to remember when looking at these team comps, this is when Ormiston is at its strongest and when arguably Canterbury is at its weakest. So really looking for any fights at this stage I feel is almost a mistake for the blue side. They still need to wait for that Tristana to hit level 16 and then start looking. By that stage, you know, that third item will be complete. As here comes that fight over that Infernal Drake. Glacial Prison does land on the Flavors, but the Tidal Wave straight through the middle pops the Flavors ultimate. That last breath does a lot of work, but a huge Shockwave actually keeps Tristana alive. Meanwhile, on the other side, Applesbrew starting to get to work. This Ashe getting so many autos off, untouched, and it will be another clean ace for Ormiston.
Yeah, Yasuo huge. I think that could be the game. I think they should just run down mid lane. 40-second death time was on everybody. I think that should be the game going over to Ormiston College.
I don't know, because there's still a lot of buildings they need to take down in order to get there. Yes, those timers are high, but I do believe there will be one last defense available for Canterbury. How much can Ormiston get in these next 25 seconds? Really 15, because that is when Pink Coat, Yellow Coat, and Jungle God are alive. Inhibitor will surely fall. The Baron Empowered minions doing so much work. We're down to 5 seconds, and Ormiston is continuing to push. The Nexus towers are in sight. When you destroy that Nexus, you win the game. The first tower will fall. The second one not long after. The Nexus starting to be attacked, but here comes Yellowcoat stepping forward. Where did that Alistar go? He just got launched to the air, as in the end, Ormiston get the win.
Yeah, and unfortunate loss there for Canterbury, who looked so strong early on, but just got ran through by Ormiston in that mid game, not knowing how to teamfight, probably getting out teamfighted really, and unfortunately they lost. But it was still a very good early game performance. I think in the first 20 minutes, I thought they had this game wrapped up and finished, but obviously got into that teamfight phase, didn't execute correctly around their key abilities, and unfortunately went down to Ormiston College. But again, Ormiston commend their team fighting, right? The Yasuo especially out of the jungler from Flavorish. Well, obviously Flavorish was the jungler in the rosters we were given, but he just played very, very well, turned the game around, and really took those kills, took those objectives, and took those team fights, getting onto the backline with the Kayn, singling out Marblefade and Pink Coat and taking him down in the fight, taking down the key damage threats for Canterbury, and the rest of the team just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I remember before this game was starting, I was actually talking to Tennille, one of the people behind the scenes here for UQU Esports, and we were commenting like, it's really rare that you see comebacks in League of Legends because it's so difficult. Like, when a team has an advantage, League of Legends is one of those games where you can really control it from start to finish if you are, like, executing properly. Right, But we saw that comeback here today. Ormiston, they were 6K down at one point, and yet they were able to execute their team fight really well. The Yasuo comp came through huge in those late game team fights. Flavorish able to get those back lines, and it was really an impressive performance. Canterbury, though, head high. You had that game one. You had control. It was a couple little mistakes that wound up costing them, and they have another match later today, so they can definitely turn this back around in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, and before we move on to our next game, or before the break, 25 minutes until the next game starts between Craigsley and Mary Mac. I will have to say, who do you think your MVP and ace is for this game?
I mean, when I'm looking at the ace, my first thought is going to be on Yellowcoat, just because, like, that Alistar, I felt his initiations were good, and I'm remembering that sort of headbutt pulverized play where he knocks the Nami away, gets the headbutt onto the right target, and then they play around it.
Pinkcoat was a better player. I think Yellowcoat had a lot of mistakes in the mid-game, a lot of flash missed headbutt pulverizers, which is very essential in an Alistar, and not being able to perform that mechanic effectively is kind of a little bit struggling. But I definitely think I think Pinkcoat, he really didn't have a bad performance at all. He was very good in the laning phase, got a good lead, roamed around the map as well, and was in the right position for his teams. I think in the team fights as well, he didn't do a lot, but I think it wasn't his fault. It was more just the fact that the rest of Device and Jungle just kind of dived in, as well as Pinkcoat kind of leaving him and Marble out to dry, and then obviously they're just getting. Can't do anything once the Yasuo on your face.
Yeah, true. And I also want to give credit to Jungle God as well. There were some impressive parries in there that did, extend team fights, keep himself alive. Unfortunately, I think Jungle God was a bit too focused on playing with the team as opposed to playing on those side lanes. We saw him in mid lane a lot as opposed to on the sidelines, where I think it would have been more effective. But naming an MVP for Canterbury, or for Ormiston, I'm sorry, this is a lot harder. I want to say Flavorish because the team was almost built around him, but I'm also leaning towards Nuff, actually, on this Nami. Those tidal waves really turned fights around, and that was typically the key engage that Flavorish would go in on.
See, I think the laning phase out of the bot side wasn't good enough to warrant. I think Flavorish is definitely the best player, or was definitely the MVP. I think he was the one that really let him win the game. I think, the bot lane had a decent performance, but if I'm not giving it to Flavorish, I'm going to have to give it to Lolitron and the Kayn. I think the Kayn did well enough. Honestly, almost the rest of the team had very quiet. Everybody had a very just a mediocre performance, but I think in those team fights, Flavorish was just such a key member and doing so much damage. I think if we look at damage graphs, he'd be by far the most damage done. And so as a result, I think the Yasuo is definitely the most valuable player.
And you also have to remember, too, during laning phase, how much pressure was put on Flavorish, and the fact that he was able to turn around from that and actually get to the stage where he could come online. I would have liked to see him online a little bit earlier in that game, but he did get there in the end, and the team did win. So a huge congratulations right there for Ormiston taking our first game of the Ekka, but there are still plenty more games to come. As you can see, in 23 minutes and about 22 seconds, we will be watching Craigsley take on Miriam Mack here at this very same stage live at the Ekka. So